Hi, everyone, and welcome to another Barber Talk on DMV's Illest Barber Talk podcast. I am your host, BF Glenn, and today I sit with Paul Jones, a 30-year mogul in the hair industry who has dealt with a lot of celebrities. He's a host. He's a plethora of things, and we're going to dive into it. So welcome, Paul, to the podcast. Thank you for your time today.
Yes, ma'am. How are you?
I am amazing. Thank you so much for this interview. So first I want to ask, how did you get into the hair industry, or what led you to it?
I always start off with telling the story about my mom's. My mom's was a senior cosmetologist, and I basically grew up in the hair field right behind her. So it's like every day that I've been born, I've been in hair.
Oh wow.
Um,
Go ahead, keep going. Keep going.
no. I was going to say, the hair journey has been a magnificent journey for me.
That's what I want to dive into because it's over 30 years. So like what
Yeah.
is the most difficult thing that you have faced? Is it going from more boots to the ground and then trying to navigate the digital space, or was it opening up the shops? What has been the most difficult time in your 30 years?
So saying that I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, the DMV area, it is real hard for the city to get recognized for hair because we're not known for that. So me actually figuring out a plan that works, because I had no prior people before me in the city that were doing what I'm doing as of right now. Now it is, now that I, created a lane. But when I first started, it was probably me and James Mack, and James Mack was in a different version of, barbering at the time than I was. So that was the only two main barbers that I can think of offhand that was leaving Baltimore doing different and bigger things.
Yeah, and it seems like, so we have a couple of celebrities that are from Baltimore. Have you ever hooked up with them, like say for instance Monique or Little Mo or anyone else that is from the area that you've been able to connect with and kind of leave your legacy there? I see on your Instagram you do have Erica, who I love.
My girl. I love
Absolutely love
Erica.
her. And CeeLo Green, but tell us a little bit more about your experience dealing with celebrities as it relates to hair.
So I'm gonna tell you, this is a funny story. So I started off with barbering, and I managed. I've been just so happened to manage my clientele, to manage people. Like I end up actually managing my business so well that people wanted to steal my like kind of like template. So then they was like, well, just give me some ideas of how I should start. And I just said, well, look, I just throw this out there to you. And then people were like, man, I can't do that. Can you do it for me? And then all of a sudden now I became their manager. So I started managing artists off of that, right? So I'm cutting their hair as one check, and then also being their manager or their road manager as another check. So I've done that for several people in the industry, and that's how I kind of got my name further in the game than just being just a barber.
Wow, that's interesting. So let's talk about that. So as you're managing, are you then playing dual roles as barber and manager to those people, or are
Yeah.
you just manager, putting the manager hat on and then barbering when you need to? Let's talk about that.
So me being a barber, I'm always managing. So it's just like one and the same.
Mhm.
It's just like basically me doing what I always do every day. So I always end up managing people in some form of fashion in my life. Even like when I first like was in barbershops, the role that I took on was always a manager style role. So it was like it just was natural for me to just flip back and forth.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Okay, so let's tell people where they can find you. So you're in Baltimore, but let's tell people your handles and where people can find you outside, like your shop. Where can they find you outside of your handles also?
Well, Instagram is normally the biggest platform for everybody. I'm Paul Jones 1228 on pretty much everything. Uh, I think, yeah, Twitter, Twitch, everything. I'm Paul Jones 1228. And then my email. My website is Paul the Barber _ Jones, or is it one of those? I might have got the underscore wrong. I think it's Paul underscore D Barber .com is my .com.
Is your
Yes.
website. Okay, I'm going to check here now. And voila, Paul-thebarber.com. And we're going to list that. We're going to list the links down here,
Okay.
down in the bottom. So we're going to get it right and we're going to settle it out. And
Yeah, because I always get it wrong. So I have it. I'm gonna tell you
that's,
how.
that's
I
okay.
have
We're
it.
going to list it.
Right. Because I have it saved in my phone. So if somebody call me, I just automatically
Just
send it to them.
yeah,
Right.
absolutely, absolutely. So, like, it says you're brand ambassador. Tell us a little bit about what are you brand ambassador for? How did you connect with the particular brand that you're the ambassador for?
So I got the hat on Barber Time.
I like that.
Yes, ma'am. Barber Time. So what Barber Time is a barber app that we was trying to get for networking purposes. We started off in Boston, and now we're trickling down to different places. We're actually into a lot of things as far as mental health. So we now have a contract with a mental health company, and I'm representing the DMV as far as this mental health company goes. So we are also, we're offering stipends for people who can normally stylists and barbers in the DMV area. We are hiring them and see, how they can help their clients in the chair with mental health.
Wow.
So the company is Kiva.
Okay.
I hope I'm saying that right. Kiva. I think it's Kiva.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's one of the companies I teamed up with, Barber Time, and I am actually running the DMV area as far as that goes, as far as that project.
That's amazing. So anybody watching this that maybe wants to connect to Barber Time can reach out to you and you will help them navigate the waters in terms of
Yeah.
how they can help their
And you can
clients.
become a member. You can always become a member of Barber Time, and we got a whole lot more in store. It's just that it's a slow roll because, if it's not the hot ticket right now, people don't jump on it.
Yeah.
It's only when people jump on it is when they see you with CeeLo Green and when you with Erica or you at the Grammys or you know what I'm saying. That's when people are like, oh, I want to get on now. Like, no, you want to jump on the ground floor and then you build it up and then you can make it what you want it to be.
Absolutely. And in my interviews with the various barbers, a lot of them do touch on the mental health aspect for their clients.
Right.
And so I think that that would interest them actually to know that there's a space that they can go to, and become a member and actually successfully be able to walk their clients through whatever it is that you guys are doing geared towards mental health. So congratulations to you on that. And you say it started
Yes, ma'am.
in Detroit?
It started in
Chicago.
Boston. It was based from
Boston.
Barber Time is based in Boston.
Okay.
It's just the fact that I've been around so long that I've been introduced to a lot of people who just had an idea and it didn't develop as well, when we first met. But as the years grew, they grew and we all grew together, and now, we're a well-oiled machine.
That's amazing. So tell us
Right.
then, what is the thing that you're most proud of in your 30 plus year history?
So I'm gonna be honest with you. I love people. I'm always in the people game, and I love to watch the evolution of the game. Like I love to watch that. At one point in time, even telling my story, I was scared to be a cosmetologist because of the stereotypes that was behind me being a cosmetologist. You know what I'm saying? So now you seeing barbers just straight out there going Cosmo, and you got guys who doing tattoo hairlines or what's it, MSP, SMP,
SMP, yes.
SMPs, and you got guys who doing foundation and they doing concealer and they doing makeup. It's like the game is so big now. When it started off as a little dot, and now we're getting so massive. I
Absolutely.
love it. I love every second of it. And I love watching the elevation. I love talking to the guys at the school and them telling me their ideas and me being excited for them and telling them how to, craft it and go and mold it, and how, people are going to tell them no a million times. Don't let your idea die. Keep pushing forward.
And I'm sure
Yeah.
you, with your resume, you've been told plenty of times. So, what advice would you give other than not give up, which is obviously what you have not done? But what advice would you give to someone who is trying to navigate the waters in a way that you are, but also keeps getting knocked down because it's such a competitive situation right now? What advice would you give?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna use my advice with everything. Just because somebody say no because they can't see the full vision, you just keep building. You keep building it up, and every time somebody tell you no, you find a way to, talk to the right people and mold your idea into what it is. Because at one point in time, what I'm saying, you think about a company like Andis or Wall or Oster. They started off in their basement working on clippers, not knowing what it was going to be today. So I'm pretty sure millions of people told them no. If you read the story on them, how they knocked on door to door and went to barbershop to barbershop, it's millions of people that told them no, and see where they are right now. So you have that same idea, that same intestinal fortitude that you can use to push you forward to be great. Don't let nobody say no. And just because somebody look good on Instagram today, don't mean they ain't gonna look bad on Instagram tomorrow. So I always say, go with what you feel, let your feelings push forward, and don't let Instagram or any of these sites break your heart, because it's gonna be bad times, it's gonna be good times in anything that you do.
And I think with that, you saying that you really enjoy people and your connections have come about because you do and obviously enjoy people and you do make those personal connections. Would it be then fair to add on to what you said and just let people know that they would have to get from behind the camera and in people's face?
Right. Networking. I'm
Okay.
gonna tell you right now, I'm a literally believer, a literal believer of networking. I network everything. Even me meeting DMV Ellis. I remember when they first started. They will probably tell you I was one of the first people to meet up with them and say, look, I love what y'all doing. Let's team up, let's build something. Now I have worked behind the scenes with them a lot. I think I did one show with them, but behind the scenes, they'll let you know that I've definitely been one of the number one supporters of everything they've done. And I greatly appreciate the brand. I'm greatly appreciating me on the journey, watching them from behind the scenes.
That's really good. And since you've been with DMV's LS since the beginning and you've been able to volunteer your services, tell us a little bit about what it's like working with the brand and watching them grow and what you have watched them flourish into. From the outside looking in, where are you at?
I mean, you think about it like that, right? Like right now, when they were starting, like it was a simple idea, right? And it's always start off as a simple idea. And they made it so personal. Like you think about it, you go to these big grand shows and you're so scared to talk to everybody because it's so massive, and you're around some people that's you think above you being a peer, and you say, oh man, I'm so scared to talk to them. But when you're in a small space as a barbershop and there's 20, 30 people in there, it's not as hard to talk to the person because he's not surrounded by so much audience. So I love that factor of it, that, it's personal. It's like, it's really you're impressing your peers instead of trying to impress the world. And then from the videos that they show, it start off small and then it grows. Now you're doing 40, now you're doing 50, now you're doing 100. And then, so now you got people anticipating your next show. And now you got a magazine and a podcast. That's the journey I love, because when you get stuck behind a chair, it's like one thing. But when you watch the journey of other people who was started in other places and then they elevated, it's amazing. Oh man, it's so amazing. I love it. I love the
Oh,
journey.
thank you. Thank you for that insight and that input. And so, what then do you think is missing in the barber industry today?
The placement. So it's like Instagram had made everybody believe, and I'm gonna stop saying Instagram because that's just the name of a media platform. I apologize. Um, media, social media had made it so easy for people to see how it looks at the top, but they never show the views from people from the bottom. They only show the view down. They'll never show the view up. So I love the fact that I can show people like, look, man, you can start from bottom floor and create your own thing. You don't have to jump in the spotlight and be that. You don't have to be that. You could be something else. You don't always have to be that guy that's at the top or you following that guy that's at the top. because sometimes you miss out on the blessings that's in between. The people that you could have contacted, like me doing it from the bottom floor, my networking is amazing. I can go anywhere in this country and I know somebody or somebody will know me or know the work that I've done for people. And they will give me a place to stay. You know what I mean? Set up hotels for me. Drive me from the airport. You know, that's the things that you skip when you jump straight to the top because you don't know the people business. When you're a barber, you're in the people business. You make sure everybody who around you know your name and your name is great to almost everybody. I mean, people gonna talk trash, but it's gonna be people that when they talk trash, like, oh man, he's a good guy. You know, you want to always have that. It's gonna be naturally people that just hate because you're a good guy, but they don't have evidence to back up what they're saying. So it always going to be a great smooth transition when you go from place to place. Just like when I came up, I'm gonna give a brief illustration of something that I was thinking of. Like when I first started off, you started off sweeping the floors in a barbershop, and that's to humble you and let you know that, all right, look, I ain't ready for the Clippers, but I'm ready to be a people person. I'm introducing, I'm sweeping. Hey, brother, how y'all doing? Hey, can you run to the store? You know, letting you build up that rapport with people, letting you know how to talk to people. Then they put you in a station. You're in a station, you're going to mess up a lot of people. It's part of it. When you're messing up people, the people that's around you should support you and say, hey, brother, you only messed up by this. You only messed up by that. You only did this. You only, and then that's going to take you to one level. Then the next level is now you doing walk-ins, and then your walk-ins are starting to build your book up. Now I got an appointment book. I don't have to do walk-ins anymore. So the new guys who, started sweeping the floor, now the new barber that's doing the walk-ins, and then the next barber, he got appointments. And then now you go from appointments to your main people that you keep going around. And then you go to the next level where you teaching the people that was at the bottom that was sweeping the floor how to be the next walk-in person. And then they teaching the next walk-in person how to be the next appointment person. And then they teaching the next person how to be where you are. And then that circle keeps repeating. Everybody won't feel slighted. Everybody gonna get their turn in the light, and everybody know when to walk away and not be a gatekeeper. Because it seems like sometimes when they get to the top, they don't want nobody else to get past them. You got to let the keys go and let new ideas flow. I would never be a gatekeeper. I always give people positions higher than mine, and I'm gonna give you what I got to go further than me. This is what I always believe as my illustration. If everybody took that template, it would be no hate in this game because it's always a place for everybody.
Absolutely, absolutely. That is very sound advice.
Right.
Because I've heard some professionals say that they felt like they were taken advantage of by shop owners, in certain instances. And so
Right.
I think that, and then also I hear some people saying that the younger generation doesn't want to necessarily do the work
Right.
get to, they want to do the shortcuts. And so that was very sound advice. And I know that someone who's really serious about moving to the next level can really take that advice and apply it to their life. And just like it's effortless, it's seamless. It's just going to move up. So thank you
Right.
for that. Thank you for that. It says that you're a host. Do you have a
Yes.
podcast? And let's talk about that.
Yeah. So I have a podcast. What I do is I go around and I talk to different barbers um in their platform, and I just give them my advice. For me being around the game so long, we had a show called the OBC, where we took during COVID, where people couldn't work, people wasn't doing a lot in the shops, and we built a whole barber battle online.
Wow.
Me and Barber Time, we was hosting, and we was, the shops that were open, that had one or two people in there. We'd take, their best client, and we was just doing a whole little, you cutting hair, and the audience get to judge. We're posting on Facebook and Instagram and all social media, and then people can judge, and that would be one thing, and then I would judge, that would be another thing, and then it would judge by their peers, and that would be a whole other thing, and then we would come up with a total score, and then at the end of it, you would get a pair of clippers. We worked with Caliber at the time, so we gave away Caliber clippers, and it was a good vibe. Of course, one thing when you come up with a good idea, it gets duplicated. So we kind of slowed down on it, but it definitely something that we're gonna think about bringing back.
Absolutely. And so that's interesting. So the barber battle was virtual and it was during COVID. So how I
Right.
know during COVID a lot of things, concerts and a lot of other things went uh in the viral space. How did that
Right.
go to how did you feel about that and what would you improve on the next one if you're comfortable talking?
Um. So I'm gonna tell you one thing that I did love about it is that the fact that you seen people that were very passionate about their skill. And when you take away somebody's passion, it's hard to place it in a new area, saying that now we can't work. When we became essential workers, then it was like, all right, now people respect us.
Mhm.
So a lot of the guys was like, yeah, I love the fact that they need us. You know, people, and we are, and I'm gonna jump topics and go right back. We are the most slept on trade, the most disrespected trade in basically the world. Because you got to think about it. We came from being doctors. We were held high as dentists and doctors. You know what I'm saying? And now people don't even want to give us $20 or don't want us to set an appointment for them when you'll go to the doctor's office and not even call them. You know what I mean? And get on their nerves about, yo, I'm gonna be there at 1 instead of 2. Is that all right? No, they're gonna keep your money. And you ain't gonna argue about it.
Right.
Right. But with us, you're gonna argue, dang, yo, you $60? Oh my God. Everything in the world went up except for us. You don't cry about gas, you fill your car up and keep going. Try to get married with a whole bunch of gas in your car, not a haircut, and see how that work out. You know what I'm saying? When I was an intern at WJ, well, that's a
WGL.
Baltimore. No, it's a Baltimore station. It was WJZ.
Okay.
Yeah, I was an intern there, and I was working with all the stars. Did you know if they didn't have their hair done the same exact way every day, they could get fired?
Oh wow.
I'm talking about not even a conversation. Like if your hair didn't look to standard, you would get fired. So to go back to what you were saying, it's like the hair game is most important, but people are downgrading us in a certain form of what I'm saying to you. If you understand where I'm going with that,
I know.
right?
I get it. And so that fueled the passion to for the barbers to then feel better about like, yeah, we've been knew we were the ish.
Right,
COVID came and it had to prove to you guys that we are important. And so now here we are.
right. So COVID took us and put us in the forefront. Like now we are essential. We are the key to life. We are the next generation of evolution of whatever you need to do. You need to holler at us first before you move forward.
Mm,
And
and
COVID showed it to them. When they took us away, like we wasn't essential. And
right.
then you seen people going crazy. And you seen Brandon Scott on TV looking crazy. You seen that man, what was the man in Chicago? She got on there looking like a raccoon.
She did.
You know what I'm
She
saying? We are needed. We are
Abs-
needed here.
Absolutely. So, so, what would you then change if you do bring back the virtual barber battles? Because I know some aspects, when you're in person, there's the energy in person with the event, and people can get that high off of that, right? But then on the virtual side, you still have a lot of things that are still virtual where a lot of people can't make it. What would you change about a barber battle if you decided to bring it back and make it
So what I did like is the camaraderie of it. Like just because you lost doesn't mean it's the end of the world. You build.
virtual?
I did like that factor of it. Like anytime that I haven't won, and I tell people this all the time, I didn't win 100% of my battles. I lost a lot, and I lost sometimes by a dot of just one thing wrong. You take that information and you build. So during COVID, it was a great time for building. You get to regroup, to rethink, and reshape your mind on how to deal with people, how to love people more now that they're gone. Because we're taking for granted. So I did like the fact of adding love into it because I don't want nobody to ever feel like they're not loved just because they do something wrong.
That's
You know,
right.
and I love that fact that you lost. Okay, you lost, but how can we make you great? You know, what did you mess up on? How can we point to the problem and fix it and help you solve it mentally? Because it starts here. Once you got it in here, it'll start showing, you know, in your skills. So a lot of people feel like, man, I lost. I'm never going to do this again. Like, no, you go twice as hard. Like that's what when I used to lose battles, anybody who know or judge my head competitions, they know I came back with a vengeance the next time. I overdid it.
Right.
You know, there's no participation trophies here. You
Absolutely.
know, you got to keep pushing until you get the trophy in your hand.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Is there, I know we're on limited time and you dropped a plethora of knowledge on us today, and we learned a lot about you.
Yes,
And
man.
so is there anything that we may have missed that you would like to touch on before we close out?
I always tell people, this is my light version of my story and stuff that when we want to talk about trial and error, right? I was with a lot of major companies and I learned a lot of information. I learned that you don't let people judge you for who you are. You know, you prove to them who you are. You know what I'm saying? Just because you're in your development stages, you mess up. Don't be like, oh man, I'm a this type of guy. Like, no, you messed up. You know, like going to jail. Going to jail is not by design, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and I'm going to jail. No, normally it's from you doing something that's either you didn't think clearly about or something that you were hungry and you stole something to eat, you know, it's a necessity, or you was around the wrong crowd and you was around the wrong peers, you know, that took you to a different mind state. So I always tell people don't talk bad about people just because they're in a bad state right now. You find out what you can do to help them at that moment, and then you help them grow forward. So that's our jobs as definitely being, you know, with this gray hair. I mean, I'm looking at this gray hair. Is there's the wisdom of, you know, knowing that people gonna mess up and not take it as face because, you know, they're gonna mess up. You say, hey, look, bro, I know you messed up. What can we do to fix it? You know? And that's my big thing. I always try to do stuff that help people, you know, walk away from the mistake that they made and go forward and grow.
And
So
with
that's what I would tell people about
I,
me.
I appreciate that. And with that, I have a follow-up question. So for
Go
the
ahead.
person
Knock
that,
yourself out.
yeah, so for the person that is trying to elevate themselves and do the steps that you outlined and say, hey, I'm trying to be better than, what I
Uh,
know, or, I'm trying to reach my full potential, but they are surrounded by people, whether it's family or friends, that are constantly making the wrong decisions or pulling on them for financial, assistance, or pulling on them on their time, because as a barber, and from not only from the barber, but as managing people, your time is very valuable.
Only
Because
thing that can't be replaced.
exactly. And
Uh-huh.
so what advice would you give to someone who is trying to get to where you are, but they're surrounded by a crowd of people that won't really allow them to peacefully focus on
So you always say this to people. You know who the strongest person on your team is, right? And the strongest person on the team is normally the person that you look up to, that you take information from, and then you build from. If you are the strongest person on your team, that means everybody's looking up to you. That means you need to find a circle that you can look up to. That means nobody in your surroundings that you're looking up to. You're looking down to them because they're asking you all the questions. So how do you answer everybody's questions when you don't have the knowledge to go to the next level?
that. Absolutely. How do they do that guilt free?
It's easy. I'm
Okay.
not, it's not that the fact that I'm not your friend. It's just that the fact that I need to grow. You know, if this is what my mother always told me every day. We used to do a event every couple days. We would go somewhere and we'd come back. And I'd be like, I don't want to go. Everybody chilling on the porch, man. Why we got? She said, when you come back, they're gonna be still on that same porch doing the same thing.
Mhm.
And they're gonna come and they're gonna ask you, where you go at? Why you wasn't on the porch? So that means now you went to a higher place that they're looking for what you done so they can get new content for their mind to think different. So I was like, I never thought about it like that. It's like everybody doing the same thing. Everybody doing the same thing. No, You got to walk away, leave, and go somewhere else where you know everybody around you are so much. I ain't gonna say smarter. Just if you're right-brained, they left-brained. You know what I mean? If I'm saying brain dead, is brain dead a word? You know,
Yeah.
brain.
If
Let's say
you
brain.
used to your right, we got it.
Yeah. So I always say, you know, whatever the most difficult thing for you to do is normally the right thing for you to do. So I always use that as my motivation to pick the people that I want surrounding me.
Absolutely. And that's great advice. And you guys heard it here. Because I'm sure that there are a lot of people, even myself, regardless what profession you're in, that are surrounded by people that you just feel like, oh, that's mama, that's sister, that's brother,
Right, right.
that's the homie from Sandbox. And
Mhm.
you just gotta leave them behind. I know I'm not talking about me. I have no problem doing that. But I know there are a lot of people that are watching that do struggle with a crowd of around them, and they needed to hear that advice today. So
Right.
thank you very much for that. Guys,
Uh,
we are out of time, but I
can I
want
say one thing before you leave though? One thing, and then we can walk. I know we're about to walk,
yeah,
but I say it like this: you are a journalist, correct?
yes.
Right. So you would look up to somebody like a Walter Cronkite, correct?
Yep, absolutely.
And he will be something totally different in your surroundings.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I was using for a small, brief example for people that's watching. Um, he's not in your peer,
Hmm.
but he's in a group of peers that you would be in.
That I would
You
be
know
at.
what I'm saying? Your circle.
That's right.
So that's what I tell people. He's definitely off. I mean, big time, a
Yeah,
different color.
absolutely.
We know
Absolutely.
he's a different color. So I tell
Absolutely.
people, just because it's our color don't mean it's right, and just
That's
because it's not our color don't mean it's wrong.
that's right. That's right.
Right.
I actually used to so I'm a writer editor first, and I used to look up to like the J.K. Rowlings who wrote the Harry Potter. Like those were my
Right.
thing. I also had the journalism background, so a Barbara Walters, a Locke McClarty. Those people were always the people that I aspired to be. But luckily I do have a supportive system. But you're absolutely right. If you don't, you need to start looking a little bit elsewhere.
Right. Correct.
Mhm. Guys, this has been a fun conversation. So thank you so much. I've learned a lot,
Yes,
not
man.
just about you, but what you have going on within the community. And so I really appreciate your time. Please like, follow, and subscribe to Paul Jones. All of his information is located at the bottom of this video. And be sure to reach out to him regarding his community events. And also, please make sure that you like, subscribe, and share this video if you like it so that others may benefit from the messages that we had here. And until the next time, we will see you later. Bye-bye.